they just so much distort life, and there's a language barrier in them, there's a communication barrier in them, and they distort, and we need some kind of help for them.
तो आप बता रही थी कि ये आपको 3000 रेफरल्स आई हैं लास्ट वीक लोकल एरिया में.
जी, वो ये है कि हमारे यहाँ से लड़के लड़कियाँ जाते हैं शादियाँ करने फैमिलियों के साथ, फिर पार्टनर लेकर आते हैं तो फिर इधर जब आ जाते हैं पार्टनर, उनका कोई दूसरी तरफ से कोई रिश्ता नहीं होता, रिश्तेदार नहीं होते, कोई फैमिली कांटेक्ट नहीं होता, वो आइसोलेशन हो जाता पार्टनर, बॉय और गर्ल, फीमेल और मेल. So what happens is in that case that often she becomes a victim that comes from abroad, and they live in a family, and then they have a breakup, domestic violence, and husband uses her for children, housework, and if she doesn't do what she's told, they threaten her to have her deported. And most cases they are now in detention centers waiting to be deported, and children have been taken off. So it's a big shame, taboo to go back to home, Pakistan or India, once you're married.
So I'll just go back a few steps. So first of all, you are describing that there are these marriages that go wrong. It can be a male or female that comes from another country, could be Pakistan, could be India, and they don't have the support in this country when it comes to any domestic violence by the person who's from this country.
Yes.
And so they're isolated, and then if they do resort to calling the police, then they end up having their children taken away as well, and then they're getting deported.
Yes.
Did you say?
Yes.
Is that women and men getting deported and the children are being taken away? So this is
broken families
without any support. So we're calling on victims to come forward, and also we're calling for solicitors to get in touch with us who have got the legal aid to do this kind of work, where to try to keep the family together, to try to stop the children from being taken into care, and for the women of domestic violence to be counselled into how to cope with the situation, and how to get support and try to stop this violence.
And also meet the needs of the language barrier.
Right. So you're finding there's because of the not being able to speak and read and write English.
Yes.
That they're not able to express themselves, and they're being blamed for the situation.
Yes. They're confused, and no support is coming, and they can't speak English and write. So that is a big breakdown communication.
So what about the social services? What do you think that they can do to help in a situation like this?
Social services, I think, should do more intervene with the mother and meet her needs, her language barrier, and see what her needs are and how can they keep the family together, with the least of our children with the mother. That's a crucial part, the foundation of each child.
So when the children are being taken away, this woman who's been a victim of domestic violence finds herself without a husband, a home, and her children, and there is nowhere for her to turn. And what do you need to take this forward?
You need some kind of organization who can offer them some assistance to guide them, go with them, and cause awareness and communicate on behalf of them with the police and social services and professionals.
So the social services, the local authority are responsible for, instead of social services taking the children away, you're saying that the social services should be providing the support for the mother and the father. If the father is the abuser, maybe he's got problems, he's out of work, अगर उनकी नौकरी नहीं है, अल्कोहल है, ड्रग्स हैं, तो उनको भी रिहैब में जाकर उनकी अपनी वो काउंसलिंग लेनी चाहिए भी क्या प्रॉब्लम है. तो लेडी को भी अपनी बच्चों के साथ वापस उनको मिलाने का, कैसे वो जो केस कोर्ट में जाना है, बच्चों को वापस लेके आना है, सोलिसिटर्स की ज़रूरत है. तो ये 3000 लेडीज़ जो लोकल हैं, लेडीज़ हैं कि बहुत मिक्सड हैं,
लेडीज़ हैं ज़्यादा,
मेनली लेडीज़ हैं. तो उनके बच्चे भी कितने हजार होंगे
जो केयर में चले गए,
3-5-6 हजार होंगे. तो उनको भी वापस उनके घर में वापस लेके आना है, हस्बैंड को वाइफ को इकट्ठा करके बच्चों के साथ कैसे उनको सपोर्ट देनी है. तो आप कह रही थी कि जो बाहर से आते हैं वो मतलब बेनिफिट नहीं ले सकते हैं, तो कैसे फिर वो कोप करते हैं ऐसे?
हाँ जी, क्योंकि मेरे केस में जो मैंने देखी है विक्टिम्स, वो काम भी करती हैं फुल टाइम, तो वो इनकम भी उनके पास आती है, तो बच्चों की भी लुक आफ्टर कर सकती हैं, अपना रेंट भी पे कर सकती हैं, उनको कोई बेनिफिट की ज़रूरत नहीं है. पर एक्स्ट्रा चाइल्ड वर्किंग टैक्स क्रेडिट कैन हेल्प देम. दोज अवेयरनेस शुड बी विद देम.
ओके, तो अभी ये जो आप कह रही हैं लेडीज़ जो घर से भाग जाती हैं, तो ये उनका कौन देखभाल कर रहा है इस वक्त?
कोई भी नहीं कर रहा, खुद ही कर रही है अपना आप,
अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ
काम करके. कोई बेनिफिट नहीं लेती, कोई कुछ नहीं लेती, काम करती हैं दुकानों पे.
तो ये कैसे हो सकता है कि उनको डिपोर्ट कर सकते हैं उनके बच्चों के बगैर, उनकी फैमिली के बगैर?
बस वो क्योंकि हस्बैंड और उसकी फैमिली जो है ना वो सपोर्ट करती है,
वो चाहती है कि बच्चे उनके पास रह जाएं. तो वो जो आया बाहर से उसको वापस भेजा जाए खाली हाथ.
तो वो आपको पता है कि they come from poor families, dignity and respect, it's a big taboo for women to go back.
तो आपका ये कहना है कि जो इंडियन सिटीजन हैं, इंग्लैंड में रह रहे हैं, उनको उतना ही हक होना चाहिए जितना यहाँ के जो रहने वाले हैं. उनको अगर
बच्चे होते हैं तो
वो डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस के विक्टिम हो गए हैं तो उनको बेनिफिट क्लेम करना चाहिए और उनको सारे लीगल एड मिलनी चाहिए.
हाँ, उनकी एलिजिबिलिटी उनको मिलनी चाहिए.
So we're calling upon solicitors in the UK to assist either voluntarily or form charitable organisations such as or to assist Ruby Rescue Centre with these ladies who maybe not qualify for legal aid, who are not resident in this country. But on the subject of immigration, Ruby ji, Pakistan and India, countries, Commonwealth countries, were under British rule. So there should be some kind of a, if they're married to a British citizen, then they should not really be deported as such.
They're subject to that. But we have so many rules and regulation, and we just don't seem to know our rights, victims. And I think knowing our rights and eligibilities are very important for one to prosper and take the fear out.
और अगर किसी के पास पैसा नहीं होता टिकट के लिए अब इंडिया वापस जाने या पाकिस्तान अपनी फैमिली को मिलने के लिए, तो उनके लिए भी कोई फंड होना चाहिए, मतलब 5-6 साल बाद अपने पेरेंट्स को, फैमिली को मिल सकें.
जी. तो
उसके साथ भी हमें फंडिंग की ज़रूरत है. इधर TV99 के फंड्स भी, रूपी रेस्क्यू सेंटर के भी, जो भी फैमिलीज सफ़र कर रही हैं, जिनके पास फंड्स हैं, वो कंट्रीब्यूशन कर सकते हैं. अडॉप्ट ए होमलेस फैमिली और अडॉप्ट ए childless family to bring the child back home to the parents. तो और आपके कौन से रेफरल्स, पहले के जो रेफरल्स हैं आपके, उसका कोई हाल निकला है आपके हिसाब से?
हाँ, मेरे हिसाब से तो निकले हैं बहुत हाल, क्योंकि विक्टिम जो होते हैं, जो स्लेव होते हैं, जो चाइल्ड ब्राइड्स, उनको मैंने रेस्क्यू किया, उनको मैंने निकाला है और फ्रीडम दिलाई है.
हाँ, आपने वो चाइल्ड ब्राइड्स आजकल भी हो रही हैं ये
आजकल तो बहुत ज़्यादा हो रही है. 99% is climbing, and it is just worldwide. It is affected with the child bride, and recently we had this case in Rotterdam, and 1,400 children were abused. And I did phone in to the other channel and did say, why not the girls from Pakistan, why not from India, Sikh, well as the white girls, we're all equal.
Yeah, what you're saying is that the we're talking here now about the pedophile rings in this country. They recruit the child brides from other eastern countries, and then they use them as
Prostitution,
sex slaves, children. They're locked up and sold for money, profit.
Yes, profit.
So the Rotherham issue, they did say 95% of the Rotherham sex offenders are white or non-Muslims. So it is not, it's a majority of a white problem. And I think there's some confusion of terminology. Sex offenders can be not necessarily with children, it can be with grown-up women. And then forced marriages has nothing to do with paedophilia, because the forced marriages are legitimate marriages, but without choice. Whereas paedophilia is where the grown-up adult, it can be an very old person generally very old, who has a affinity towards very young children, babies even, and under the age of 16. So that there's a big difference between marriages, forced marriages, sex offenders, and paedophilia. And so what did you, I mean, they try to mix up the problem of underaged girlfriend, boyfriend. I mean, that's not forced marriage, that's not rape or any child abuse. If an underage person wishes to have a relationship with an older man, you know, a white female, then that's her choice. But they're obviously mixing that up with child abuse. That's not really, doesn't come under child abuse as such. We're talking about paedophilia. We have a caller on the line. Would you like to give us your name and place where you're calling from, and your question, please? अरे आप दोबारा बोलिए जरा, मैंने अच्छा, तो आप क्या कहना चाह रही हैं?
उत्तर चाहता हो और जो कैसे बोलूं, वो फोर्स करते हैं ना मैरिज में, कैसे बच्चे को, छोटे छोटे बच्चे को वो क्या करते हैं, और 5 बच्चों में और 2 बच्चों में 10 बच्चे, 10 से और 5 बस. मैं इंग्लिश में बोल देता हूँ आपको. What do you do when you know 5 years old to 5 years old? Then when they get arranged marriage for young people from another country, how do you like, you know, how do you say this? उसको क्या force करते कि कैसे वजूद कैसे है, छोटे छोटे बच्चे को कैसे इसे कैसे बोलो, वो छोटे बच्चे है ना, 5 से नीचे है ना, against the law है ना, छोटे बच्चे को force करते से.
किस कंट्री की बात कर रहे हैं आप? यूके की के कौन सी कंट्री की बात कर रहे हैं आप?
कितने बच्चे हैं ना, छोटे छोटे बच्चे को देखो ना, पाकिस्तान में, इंडिया में छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं ना कंट्री में, वो फिक्स करते हैं ना अरेंज मैरिज छोटे तक पे फिक्स करके.
तो बच्चे मैरिज हो जाते हैं पर एक दूसरे को मिलते नहीं है जब तक वो एडल्ट्स नहीं हो जाते हैं. मैरिज कंसर्वेशन नहीं
होती, समझे, फिक्स करके बच्चे रखते हैं ना, जो बच्चे देते हैं ना, जन्म देते हैं ना, वो फिक्स करके कुंडली देख के सब जीतेगा।
तो ये तो पुलिस का मामला है ना, अगर कोई बच्चों के साथ कुछ करता है तो आपको मालूम होता है तो पुलिस को रिपोर्ट करना होता है। इंडिया पाकिस्तान में तो ये बहुत सख्त जुल्म है ना इस कंट्री में।
मेरे सामने हुआ था एक।
आपके साथ हुआ था? आपकी एज कितनी थी?
2
साल का।
हाँ।
तो आपको पुलिस की रिपोर्ट की आपने?
हाँ, पाकिस्तान ने भी किया था, कुछ नहीं किया तो इंडिया में थोड़ा।
आपकी कितनी एज थी जब आपने रिपोर्ट किया है?
अब मैं पुलिस पे गया था ना, पुलिस ने कुछ नहीं किया।
कितनी एज थी आप जब पुलिस पे गए?
मेरा एज था 25 था। 20।
तो इतनी देर आपने रिपोर्ट नहीं की किसी को?
मैं किए थे, कितनी जगह किया, मैं कुछ नहीं किया। मैं सब एक्शन किया, वो पैसे खा के कुछ खा के वो चले जाते थे।
तो अब आप इंग्लैंड में रह रहे हैं?
मैं इंग्लैंड में नहीं, अभी मैं मुल्ले में पाकिस्तान में हूँ।
अच्छा, तो अब आपकी उम्र कितनी है अब?
38 है, 42।
अच्छा, तो आप फिर ये मामले को फिर आप दोबारा इसको जो परपिट्रेटर है उसका अब क्या है? आपने क्या किया है? अब तक जिंदा है कि क्या है?
वो जानते जाता हो जिंदा है ना, मुश्किल है, उसका प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, वो पीटा हो रहा है, कैसे बोलूं।
तो ऐसे जो सिचुएशंस होते हैं ना, लोग थैंक यू आपकी कॉल आई है। तो ऐसे होता है कि लोग कुछ करते नहीं है, काफ़ी देर टाइम हो जाता है, पर फिर भी आपको रिपोर्ट लॉग करनी पड़ती है। रूबी जी, आपकी भी सिचुएशन ऐसी है ना कि आपने अभी थोड़ी देर हुई है आपने रिपोर्ट लिखवाई है, तो अभी डिलेज हो रही हैं और आपको भी बताया गया कि वो जो परपिट्रेटर अब्यूज़र था वो मर चुका है, उसकी फैमिली भी मर चुकी है। तो हम अभी थोड़ी सी ब्रेक के बाद फिर ये डिस्कशन चालू करते हैं। हमारे साथ फिर मुलाकात करना। Hello, welcome back. This is TV99 Be Brave. I'm Neelu Chowdhury and my guest today, Ruby Akhtar of Ruby Rescue Centre. We had a caller who told us that they were victim of child abuse and no investigation has been carried out. And Ruby ji, you were telling us about your particular investigation. How long has it been now since you've been reporting this matter to the police?
I reported in 1981, then I reported in 2011, and it just is no end to it. And in Pakistan, there's no law and order for such victims or any kind of stability out there. So over there is the problem that no law and order. In England we have law and order, we get justice somewhat, but we can lodge reports, shame them and name them, the pedophiles, but over there Pakistan doesn't have that. So she's shame that the caller will not get some satisfaction, because woman's voice is not heard in Pakistan, let alone she talks about a pedophile.
So 30 years now, it's been 30 years that you've been report this matter to the police, and they are still, they called you to tell you that the family witness
Well,
had
the
died.
pedophile had died, his sister had died, and so those who had care of duty of a child, they have died. So, but it's ongoing with the Pakistan government. My case is running.
When you reported the matter to the police, what did the police ask you to give them as evidence of your
Video, 3.5 hours video, and I've got the script myself now, and outlining your pain and your details of the pedophile and who people conspire together.
We have another caller. Welcome to Be Brave. Please tell us your name, your place, and your question. Hello, you're live on Be Brave, TV99. Hello, you're live. Please tell us your name and place. Okay, I think we lost the caller. So this is 30 years, and you've given your information to the police. And what is the delay? What is taking 30 years?
It was first of all shame and silence and sickness exposed everything, and so it was necessity to expose and share, so all the pain inside gathered up to bring some light and awareness
So
and
you,
get justice.
delay is not your fault though.
No.
It's the delay has caused you to become sick.
Yes.
It's what is it that they say is the obstacle to the investigation? They know the abuser, they know where he lives.
They say because he died, the pedophile died with a deceit, and there's nothing more they can do for that.
And which year did he die?
2004.
So between 81 and 2004, we've got 23 years.
Yes, and nobody did anything.
And so is this acceptable? Is this common, or is it just a one-off?
I think this common. No one has ever got justice worldwide, and I'm fighting for others now. Maybe tomorrow's world, tomorrow's victims will have justice and voice.
So आप ये कह रही हैं कि अगर आपके पास भी आ जाएंगे विक्टिम्स जो हैं, तो आप अगर पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं करेंगी तो उनके पास लीगल एड नहीं है, उनके पास रहने की जगह नहीं है, उनको रिपोर्ट किया जा रहा है, उनके बच्चे छीन लिए हैं और घर नहीं जा सकते, उनका कोई फैमिली नहीं है, तो उसमें ये इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन तरह है ना, मतलब इट्स अनएक्सेप्टेबल. तो आपका ये क्या विश है कि कौन आगे आके आपके ये सारी लेडीज जो हैं सफ़र कर रही हैं? 3000 लास्ट वीक आपको रेफरल मिला है रूबी रेस्क्यू सेंटर यहाँ TV99 पे. तो आपको कितने आदमी चाहिए, कितनी फंडिंग चाहिए, कितनी काउंसिल्स की अप्रूवल चाहिए आपको इन विक्टिम्स को लेजिटिमेट रेमेडी लेने के लिए? आप क्या मांग रही हैं इस प्लेटफॉर्म से?
मैं यही मांग रही हूँ कि कोई फॉरवर्ड आए and sponsor us ladies and make us donation big, and where we can seek help, and solicitors and welfare needs met, counseling, medical, and victim could get justice and the light of. So it's basically people need to see what we need.
तो आप मतलब ऐसे कोई स्कीम हो सकती है ना लोकल काउंसिल में कि अडॉप्ट ए विक्टिम ऑफ डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस. काउंसिल्स आपको एक लेडी आपको बेड एंड ब्रेकफास्ट आपके घर में आके रह ले, बेड एंड ब्रेकफास्ट वो आप दे दें उनको, तो काउंसिल आपको अगर उनके पास नई हॉस्टल्स हैं, नई अकोमोडेशन है, तो लोगों को ऐसे कोई स्कीम निकाल सकते हैं.
जी, कोई दे सकता है, वो अपना घर भी दे सकता है, कोई अपनी कोई चीज दे सकता है, जमीन ताकि हम बिल्ड कर सकें वो सेंटर इंस्टीट्यूशन उनके लिए, औरतों के लिए, जहाँ फ्री एवरीथिंग सर्विसेज।
जहाँ किसी के घर में कमरा खाली है वो रेंट पे दे देते हैं और फंडिंग काउंसिल दे सकती है। जैसे अगर उनके बच्चे यहाँ पैदा हुए इस कंट्री में तो उनको यहाँ रहने का हक है उस, और मैरिज ब्रिटिश सिटीजन से मैरिज करने का भी हक है उनका इधर रहने का। और कितने, और बीइंग इंडिया बीइंग और पाकिस्तान बीइंग अ कॉमनवेल्थ कंट्री, उसमें भी उनका हक है। तो कहीं भी आप जाएं तो उनको डिपोर्ट करने का तो सवाल ही नहीं आता है। अगर मतलब ह्यूमैनिटी के तौर पे देखा जाए तो जो उनके हक हैं, अपने फैमिली के जो हक होते हैं इकट्ठे रहने के, वो कोई उसका बंधन तोड़ नहीं सकता है। अगर तोड़ता है तो वो लीगल नहीं, मतलब ह्यूमैनिटी के तौर से एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं हो सकता। क्या ख्याल है आपका?
जी, मैं तो यही कहूँगी कि everything is available but we need to be more awareness and more help at hand for the victims.
So we're calling on people to tell us if they have any rooms available for women who have been victim of domestic violence, if they want to offer that, if they have any want to make donation to TV99 to Ruby Rescue Center, to contact the number at TV99, and if you want to tell your story here, please come and be interviewed or call us on the number and share your experiences with the others. If you've resolved your issue, if you've been able to get back with your partner and your children and you're back together again, we want to hear about that. If you have any other ideas of how we can resolve these 3,000 ladies' problems who are faced with domestic violence, having their children taken and facing deportation, how you think you can, how the structure in the community can be changed so that the families are not broken, they're kept together, and everybody supported, whatever the problem is, whether it's alcohol, drugs, domestic violence or joblessness, money problems. We can provide the platform for debates on TV99. We can have the men who are abusing the women come and tell us why they do this. Were they themselves victims of abuse? Is it something they need counseling? They need to heal from their own wounds to stop other people being abused. So whatever the situation is that is causing pain or hurt or trauma to another person, we have to, as a community, come together, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of whether it's a girl or a boy or a man or a woman. We have got to bring this platform, TV99 platform, for the whole community to come and debate these issues and tell the local councils, make demands from them where we want the funding. The funding is not being provided in the right places. Ruby जी, आपका क्या ख्याल है, जो charities हैं, voluntary organizations हैं, वो कुछ कर रही हैं हमारी community के लिए?
I feel very sad so far. There is no healthy communication with any institutions or any charities that people have been come away with some kind of consolations that they've got help. So that's why we have at such a scale 3,000 victims sitting destitute. So there's no healthy relationship between the children and the parent, between the professionals. So my view solutions we need to team up and come forward with TV99. What can we do for these victims and how can we move forward and positive steps?
So the victims have tried to go to the voluntary organizations, the charitable organizations that have been here for decades, but they don't seem to be keeping up with the needs of the
victims,
changing needs of the community.
Yes.
So everything is now in a bigger scale, and even if you have a drop-in center to come and tell your stories, you don't have the resources to fix it. Then it's just collecting numbers, collecting names, and collecting statistics, and passing on to the council, but not really addressing it or finding the solutions for it. So this is unacceptable, and we're calling on the local councils here in London, the whole of London, the Greater London area, and nationally in the UK, to reassess the needs of the Asian community, the growing Asian community, and the very acute emergency situation that we have, where women and children particularly, and families are suffering as a result of the lack of resources, a lack of support, and a lack of understanding and lack of education of the needs of the Asian community here in the UK, and we are, and it also has repercussions all around the globe, because whatever happens in the UK seems to happen everywhere else as well. So we're just a platform that is a demonstration of what is going on globally. So we're going to carry on with this debate. The TV99 Be Brave again soon, and we welcome you to come and share your experiences, stories, and contact us here at TV99. Make donations to help other families, and come and tell us about your experiences. If you have a good council doing some good work, then let us know. If you've been able to get funding from your local council, please let us know how you to do that, and so we can help at least these 50,000 child brides and 3,000 these local women here in the area here of West London, who are facing deportation and destitution. So thank you very much again, Rubiji, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you again soon. Thank you for joining us here on TV99 Be Brave. Bye-bye.
Are you having a trouble to access the online Quran? The Quran Easy Way gives you the one-to-one, the family packages, and the professional ones.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم يا رب صل عليه يا رب صل.
Book your first trial today on www.easywayquran.com.
Mahir & Co. Solicitors, a name you can trust. We provide expert legal advice on immigration matters, buying and selling of properties, civil litigation and family matters. Please contact Mahir & Co. Solicitors on 01628 675 239.
We're ready, Ruby. Look in the camera. Hello, welcome back to Be Brave. We're having an additional episode here now to discuss the problems of the youth in the UK, United Kingdom here. And I have with me my special guest, Ruby Akhtar, she's going to put me in the picture about what's happening locally with the drug abuse scene here that's causing domestic violence in the families because of the lack of control of the use of drugs in this local community. So Rubiji, please tell me, what is the problem with the children's use of drugs that are affecting them in a negative way, affecting their education, affecting the way that they are with their parents, and causing them to be not be themselves most of the time, and parents not being able to communicate with them. What is this local scene, the drug scene here, that's affecting the community?
Well, take as example, we're giving matter for council state. You have a council state, single parent, hardship, and poor quality of life they have at home. Now, for instance, the parents who have private homes and good areas, and where the children from the council approach them and they take them down. There's not enough places for them, and education, the system seems to be failing. Parent is failing because cannot cope with the forces of the outside drug and alcohol, which is large scale drug dealers are everywhere.
So these drug dealers, they're not actually that we think that they are coming from another country. They're actually long-term people, residents of this country, who are growing drugs in their own homes, and they are, and it is something that is known. It's not unknown. So what is it that we can do about the lack of control of the use of drugs locally? What do you think?
Sorry?
So the lack of investigation into the sale of drugs, illegal sale of drugs in this country. The local, it's known, the people who grow the drugs are known to the authorities.
Yes.
But nothing is done about it. So why is that? Do you think that it's getting worse, but it's not because the police don't know who's growing the stuff or who's selling the stuff. They do know that, but they choose not to do anything about it. Is that what you think?
I think it's just the whole way system is, profiting from each other and keep slowing the children down in the academic years and causing problems at home. And financially, the parents is broken. If a single parent, you could imagine, there's never more, always help needed, children, boys. So there's a lot of corruption, people, and there are men who are causing this among the young children, and parents are handicapped.
So are you saying that these are not necessarily people of ethnic Asian origin?
No.
But they're mostly affecting what the local community of all races.
Yes.
But the Asian community is more affected by it because either they have more money, they can get more drugs. I mean, we have a caller. Hello, what's your name, please, and what's the question? Okay, sorry, caller's dropped. We were just I know for a fact that the police are aware of the problem, but they're not doing enough about it. That's my concern. it is, and they have helicopters now. They do thermal imaging. They can pick up, if somebody's growing cannabis in their home. The technology is there for them to know that they can stop it if they really want to. They can stop it overnight. But as you say, it's profit based, it's profit led, and they get a lot of money. And we're talking about tens of thousands of pounds per month. They can pick up by keeping quiet.
Yes.
So the effect on the community, we're talking about millions of children's education at the particular point in their life when the education is so crucial, that they're being this stuff they're targeted at schools, as after school, mostly around the schools that this activity goes on. The police are well aware of it, but they tend not to do anything about it. So that's a problem. So what do you think is the answer? Because
the government needs to create more better places for these children, academically and sports, and the children can have life skills. Children nowadays coming to school with no GCSEs, no life skills, no knowledge, no history, but they know more about the internet, pornography. You look at what India has accomplished yesterday in the news. So we have among our children the dark force of internet, drugs, alcohol, pornography.
Yeah, that's the Supreme Court decision in India that's going to ban all porn programs on the internet. I think 4 crores of programs are going to be banned. So that's a really very good first step. If that could be achieved in this country, it may be the answer to a lot of the domestic violence as well against women and children. Men lose their perspective of married life and their responsibilities when they're faced with the drugs and alcohol and pornography. And kids' education suffers. So we are pleading with the local councils to address these issues, because it does increase the amount of domestic violence incidents in the home, as well as it causes more
death. Also, there's large number of death on children's.
And a lot of violence between children in schools as well as outside schools. So we want to hear about what you're facing with your own children regarding the use of cannabis, regarding the use of alcohol and other drugs.
Legal high.
This legal high.
Yes.
So whatever, what remedies you're seeking or you've got with the school, whether you've been able to stop the sale of cannabis locally in your area, whether the police have been effective, let us know. And if you have any way of approaching the councils, your local councils, to stop the growth of cannabis in your local area, then please take action locally through your
say about the children,
through your councillors, through your MPs. There is a website called whatdotheyknow.com where you can contact your local MP by putting in your postcode, your councillors as well as your MPs, and you can also write to the Lords in the subject that you are interested in, or that they're interested in, number of speeches they've given in Parliament on the subject. You can do a search. So whatdotheyknow.com is a very good website to, it's called Write to Them. Whatdotheyknow.com, I think, is a Freedom of Information website. Write to Them. WriteToThem.com is the one where you can find out who your local councillors and MPs are. Regarding the effects on the education, Ruby G, we discussed this once before about the children who are not listening to the parents, and they are even attacking their parents. So
Indeed.
These are very common occurrence now. Children are not listening to their parents, but it's not that your child is at fault. Now, recently, Dr. Wakefield has given an interview about the effects of MMR on and autism, in particularly in children from ethnic minorities, and that would explain why children have become troublesome. If they become autistic from the MMR vaccine, then they're not going to be able to do well at school, and they will not get on very well with their friends or their family, and there will be domestic violence as a result, especially when they reach the teenage years, which is a very difficult time for most kids anyway. So, Rubiji, what can you tell us about the attacks on parents? Is that a common occurrence?
Yes, it is, and only parent can fix it by on side of the child, encouraging child, and not stopping and telling them it's wrong and right, and no violence. What effect the drink and alcohol has, showing them stability, showing them it's the wrong, and hope for the best.
So we're going to have another break, and we'll be right back.
Are you having a trouble to access the online Quran? The Quran is a way give you the one-to-one, the family packages and the professional ones.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم يا رب صل عليه يا رب صل.
Book your first trial today on www.easywayquran.com.
Hello, welcome back. Be Brave, TV99. I'm Neela Chowdhury. My guest Ruby Akhtar. We're just discussing domestic violence by teenagers against their parents because of the lack of support in the community in extinguishing drug abuse, alcohol abuse, cannabis grown in local communities. So Rubiji, we're just discussing the violence by teenagers against their parents. What do you think should be done about that?
I think their schools not doing enough help, and professionals not doing much help, social services not doing much help towards the teenage children, and not creating better stability around them, school or at home, and there's not healthy communication among them. All the communications are broken. Child doesn't like the teacher, teacher doesn't like the child. Social workers say this age is a very difficult age, but there has to be a solution. Why is it other children who politicians and other parents and could send their children to better education, better activities. But there is lot of work has been left. Government needs to look and wake up to their own people and children.
So the resources are there, but they're not being managed properly. They're not being put in the, the priorities are not being put in the right order, and children are suffering, especially when they're education, during those years of where they're becoming, getting ready for university. They're suffering from this external negative forces, peer pressure, and it's affecting their the relationship with their parents. So when a teenager, say, has attacked his or her parent, a mother or a father, the parent would hesitate before calling any authorities, because it might end up with the child being taken away. So what do you think is a dilemma, that when a parent actually needs support, when they call the authorities, they actually make things worse by breaking up the family? Or do you think the family has to be broken up for a period for them to, maybe get the happy balance back again, recovery from a trauma of some kind? What do you think? How do we weigh up?
It's a very, very complex. Now, the children and the parent, when there is physical fights are broken out, and there has to be a better boundary and discipline by the law offered to the parent, and more support to the parent, agreeing with the parent, and having respect and dignity. There's no empathy and sympathy among individuals. Teenagers have no healthy relationships. Everyone's bad. Everyone's profession is not doing good enough. Where are we going wrong as a parent, school?
So certainly we have to reset this, the way that things are being done at the moment. The teenagers have absolutely no support structures, like extracurricular activity centers, where they can go and do things outside school hours, where they can interact with community, maybe people of their own age and older people of their parents' age. Some joint activities between teenagers and their parents, that they're interested in doing. What kind of activities are teenagers interested in doing outside of school hours these days?
Sport, maybe debate, evening out to chill, watch some kind of music, listen to, and sharing thoughts, and maybe sending them on little holidays, spending time with them, quality time.
So I think local councils could provide free membership to teenagers at the gyms, at the local leisure centres that are funded by the council. They could have free travel, at certain times of the day. The councils could think about changing the way that they provide their services
for children.
They could subsidise their holidays, and just it's part of a rehab to get them out of this kind of negative lifestyle where they have gone into a negative spiral. They have lost their ambitions to be successful because of a situation where even if you've got a double degree, you're not able to find work. So it's not that your education level is going to secure you for life anymore. So they've become a bit demotivated into going to university, and they're choosing to maybe have a tradesman kind of job, like electrician, plumber, carpentry, builder. These are very highly paid kind of trades, and they're still in demand. and there are jobs like quantity surveying where you can do a degree and it's a professional degree, or there are other trades apart from the usual being a doctor or being an accountant or being a business person. So we would like the councils to respond to the needs of the local community with the resources and finance to get these children rehabilitated, these teenagers, maybe to do some kind of mechanic course, trades course, to make them feel like they're capable of doing something in life for themselves and have a career, and in a paid career and paid jobs. As a backup, they can still go and do their degree in their university, but still do these evening courses that they have that provide them with an extra, like an electrician is a two evenings a week. On top of when they're 16, they can do that on top of their education. So, find out from your local colleges what courses are available to you. You can spend 2 evenings or 4 evenings doing a couple of courses. You can get City and Guilds course as an electrician, and in 2 years you're a qualified electrician as well as a doctor, going to university training to be a doctor. So there are a lot of adult education colleges offering courses for teenagers to become qualified professionals at a very young age of 18, 19, and then you can still go to university and do your professional degree. So Ruby G, what do you think about the adult education courses as a way of occupying your children? Give them something to do for the moment whilst they don't have those activity centres or leisure centres.
Anything which is knowledge, and knowledge is power, and individuals should be able to have life skills, talent, and could make a living. And it's very crucial not to be counterproductive, and parents need home support, single parents, and because the father has denied, and the only help they could get from the state, from the government, councils, local governments, social services, so they're not being provided at the right time, and needs are not met at the right moments.
So there must be a social worker involved with the parents or the children to help the child to get into some kind of a course in the adult education, or some kind of rehab, the referrals through the GP or the social services, whereby you can start to go in a positive spiral, start to heal your family. Aside from any domestic violence that you want to heal from, you can look into the future, give them the bright future, bring your family closer together, and seek the help that should be provided outside of your family home, from the communities, from the schools, from the councils. And let's work together on TV99, on this platform. Be brave. Let's fight domestic violence. Let's fight child abuse. Let's get our children on the right path of having a positive life future together ahead of them. And share with us your stories, share with us your experiences here on TV99, and make the donations. If you have funds, if you want to come and volunteer here or come and be a host or a guest, please call TV99 on the number, and hope to see you soon with sharing your stories. So from Ruby Akhtar and myself, Neela Chowdhury, see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
وطني الغالي وطني
you having a trouble to access the